There comes a moment that no one prepares you for. Not a heartbreak, not a failure, not even grief, but something deeper. It's that quiet, invisible collapse. The moment when the ground beneath you no longer feels like ground at all, just air, empty space, and a falling sensation that never ends. You look around, and the world keeps moving. People talk, clocks tick, but inside, something has stopped. Maybe it's your hope. Maybe it's your strength. Maybe it's your ability to pretend you're okay. Have you ever reached that place where you're not just tired, but hollow? Where even sleep doesn't heal you? Where you carry yourself like a whisper, hoping no one notices just how close you are to vanishing? If you're listening now, maybe you're there. Maybe you're standing at the edge of everything you've ever known, watching it crumble in slow motion. Maybe you're walking through your days like a ghost showing up smiling when needed, nodding through conversations. But inside, you're screaming. And it's not always one big thing that breaks you. Sometimes it's the 1,000 little things, the missed calls, the things you couldn't say, the nights you stayed strong when you needed to fall apart. Sometimes it's just the silence, the way no one sees your pain unless it explodes. And so you carry it, day after day, wearing strength like armor, even when it's crushing you from the inside. But here's what no one tells you. This breaking, it matters. Not because it feels good, it doesn't. Not because you deserve it, you don't. But because sometimes the soul doesn't whisper anymore. It shatters. Not to destroy you, but to wake you. You are not weak because you feel this way. You are not broken beyond repair. You are simply human, and you are not alone. Imagine this. You're standing in the center of a storm, the kind that doesn't knock first. It just arrives. Winds tearing at your skin, rain stinging like needles, thunder cracking open the sky above you. Your instincts scream, run, hide, make it stop. But there's nowhere to go, because this storm, it's not outside. It's inside you. It's every memory you couldn't shake, every loss you never mourned, every expectation you failed to meet. And now, it's all here, swirling, crashing, demanding your attention. And you wonder, what did I do to deserve this? Why does it feel like everything is falling apart at once? But pause, just for a moment. What if the storm isn't here to break you? What if it's here to break open what's been locked away too long? Nature doesn't waste energy. Storms clear out what no longer belongs. They release pressure. They rearrange the sky. And maybe your storm is doing the same. It hurts, yes, but not because you're weak, because something is shifting, because you've been carrying too much, because a version of you, the one built to survive, to please, to endure, is no longer who you're meant to be. You can't numb it this time. You can't scroll past it, binge through it, or sleep it off. You've outgrown your distractions. So now it's just you and the storm. You and the truth you've been avoiding. And I know it's terrifying. But storms don't come to ask for permission. They come to cleanse, to strip you bare, to show you what remains when everything else is gone. And maybe if you're brave enough to stand in it, you'll find out that what remains is stronger than you thought. Pain doesn't arrive uninvited. It doesn't crash into your life to destroy you without cause. It speaks. and sometimes it screams. But we've been taught to fear it, to push it away, to smile through it, to tell ourselves I'm fine, even when the truth is clawing at our insides. But what if pain is not your enemy? What if it's your soul's final attempt to get your attention? Carl Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. And you can feel the truth of that, not in your mind, but in your bones. Pain doesn't mean you're weak. It means something inside you is misaligned. A truth has been buried. A need has been silenced. A version of you has been pretending for too long. You feel it when you wake up tired, even after sleeping. When you laugh, but it doesn't reach your eyes. When you achieve something you thought would make you happy, and all you feel is emptiness. That's not failure. That's truth knocking. And pain is its messenger. Most people will do anything to avoid this moment. They'll drink it away, work it away, perform happiness so convincingly that even they believe it for a while. But not you, not now. Because some part of you has chosen to stay present, to feel, to face it. And I promise you, that is the bravest thing you can do. Not to fight the pain, but to listen. Ask it gently. What are you here to show me? And let the silence answer. It might whisper truths you've buried. It might reveal that the life you've built is too small for who you've become. It might ask you to let go of a dream, so a better one can take its place. It won't be easy, but real healing rarely is. Still, this is the path. Not around pain, not above it, but through. And on the other side, there is clarity, there is truth, and there is you, not as the world has shaped you to be, but as you truly are. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to remember. Before the world told you how to behave, before success was a checklist, before love became something to earn, who were you? Maybe you were the child who danced without music, the one who laughed without fear, who believed love didn't have to be deserved, it just was. But life, it teaches differently. You got hurt. You learned to guard your softness. You learned to perform strength. And somewhere along the way, you forgot the sound of your own voice. You began to wear masks, smiling when you felt empty, working hard just to feel worthy, giving until there was nothing left of you. And the world applauded. They called you reliable, strong, successful, but inside, you knew you were disappearing. You can only play a role for so long before it begins to suffocate you. You can only chase external love for so long before it feels like starvation. So here you are, at your lowest, not because you failed, but because you're being asked to stop performing. The version of you that survived, it got you here, but it won't get you where your soul longs to go. And that ache inside you, that quiet dissatisfaction, it's not something to fix. It's a compass, pointing you back to the truth. You were never meant to be perfect. You were never meant to be everything to everyone. You were meant to be real. And being real, that's where the healing begins. So ask yourself, who was I before I became what the world expected? And who am I allowed to become now? Not the version shaped by survival, but the one rising from within, not new, but remembered. In ancient myth, there is a bird unlike any other, the phoenix. It lives, it burns, and from its ashes, it rises. It doesn't run from the fire. It enters it willingly, not because it wants to suffer, but because it knows only through destruction can something sacred be reborn. What if your life right now feels like that fire? What if everything you're losing, the relationship, the identity, the plan you clung to, was never meant to last? And what if that collapse isn't a failure, but a clearing? You've tried to hold it all together, but maybe life isn't asking you to hold. Maybe it's asking you to let go. The truth is, what's falling away is not the end of you. It's the end of what could no longer hold your soul. Yes, it hurts. Let it. Yes, it scares you. Of course it does. But even fear cannot stop the sacred cycle of becoming. There's something inside you that fire cannot burn. A core, a truth, a spark that refuses to die. And this spark, it's been waiting. Through every loss, every lie, every time you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. It waited for this moment, when the old version of you would finally lay down, when you'd stop running, stop hiding, and simply be still enough to feel the flicker of what wants to rise. You are not being erased. You are being rewritten. And the flame that seems to consume you now, it holds the gold of who you've always been. Let it burn. Let it strip away the false. Because what survives that fire will be real, will be free. There's a cave in your soul, dark, quiet, untouched. You've felt its presence your whole life. You pass it by every time you silence your truth. Smile when you want to scream. Stay when your heart says leave. Joseph Campbell once said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek, and maybe now it's time. Not because it's safe, not because it's easy, but because pretending you don't need to go there is becoming too heavy to carry. Inside that cave are all the parts of you that never got the chance to speak. The grief you minimized, the rage you swallowed, the dreams you abandoned just to be accepted. And walking in will not feel heroic. It will feel like trembling. It will feel like silence pressing into your chest. It will feel like tears that have waited too long. But when you finally sit there, with your back against the stone of your own becoming, something shifts. Not loudly, not in fireworks, but in the soft knowing that you've stopped running from yourself. That's where real transformation lives. Not in the public victories, not in the applause, but in the moments no one sees. When you choose truth over comfort. When you say, "This is who I am," even if no one claps, even if they misunderstand, even if you feel alone. Because being real is worth more than being liked. And entering the cave is not about finding answers immediately. It's about daring to be with the questions. Who am I without the mask? What do I need that I've never allowed myself to want? What have I been waiting for? That only I can give. You'll hear echoes at first, the voices of doubt, the voices of fear. But keep listening, because beneath those echoes is your own voice. Raw, steady, unapologetic. It's been waiting in the dark, not for someone to save it, but for you to return. There's an art in Japan called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They gather the pieces, and they fill the cracks with gold. Not to hide the damage, but to honor it. To say this too is part of the story. What if your life could be seen that way? Not as a list of mistakes, not as a trail of shame, but as something sacred, even in the breaking. We are told to hide our pain, smile through it, erase the evidence. But your scars, they are proof that you've lived, that you've felt deeply, that you've returned from the fire not untouched, but transformed. And what's more beautiful than a soul that knows what it survived? You've been taught that strength means never falling apart. But what if true strength is having the courage to come back, not the same, but honest, to carry your cracks with reverence, to walk through the world and say, yes, I've been broken, and yes, I've rebuilt, not in secret, but in the open, where others might see your gold-filled fractures and remember their own worth. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about weaving it into who you are with tenderness, with grace. You don't have to pretend you were never hurt. You just have to choose not to let that hurt define you. Let it refine you. Let it remind you you're still here. And that means you still have chapters left to write. There's gold in your cracks, not because you asked for them, but because you survived them. You are living, Kintsugi, and every breath you take is a testament that broken does not mean worthless. It means real. It means resilient. It means beautifully, unmistakably you. Rebuilding doesn't begin with a grand vision. It begins with a breath, with the quiet decision to stay, to open your eyes even when they're heavy with yesterday. You don't need a blueprint. You don't need to fix everything all at once. You just need to ask yourself, what does healing look like for me today? Maybe it's choosing not to check your phone the moment you wake up. Maybe it's drinking water like it matters. Maybe it's stepping outside and letting the sun touch your skin, even if your heart still feels like winter. These are not small things. They are sacred acts, tiny revolutions, proof that somewhere deep within you, something still wants to live. You've been through the fire, you've walked through the storm, and now you plant seeds, not with urgency, but with presence. You give yourself permission to be new, to journal without editing, to feel without numbing, to cry without apologizing. This is what it means to rise. Not loudly, not all at once, but truthfully. Because what you're building now isn't a return to who you were. It's a slow unfolding into who you're meant to be. It won't always feel certain. You'll take 2 steps forward and fall 3 steps back. That's okay. Each time you get up, you're not starting over. You're starting from experience, from wisdom earned in the fire. Let go of the lie that healing is linear. It's a spiral. It curves, it returns, it deepens. And every time you return to yourself, you do so with more tenderness, more clarity, more grace. That is what makes this season sacred. Not its perfection, but your presence inside it. So breathe again and know this small moment of choosing yourself, it matters more than you know. There's a voice inside you. It's not loud, not demanding. It doesn't scream for attention like the world does. It waits quietly, patiently, like a lantern at the edge of a forest, ready to guide you, but never force you. You've heard it before, in the stillness, in the ache, in the quiet moments after breaking and just before rising. It doesn't speak in commands, it asks questions. Are you living a life that's yours? or one that was handed to you, shaped by fear, expectation, and survival? Are you choosing what brings you closer to yourself, or what keeps you comfortably distant from your truth? This voice isn't here to judge. It's here to return you to something older than pain, more permanent than identity, more honest than image. It knows what matters and what doesn't. It knows that joy without alignment feels hollow, that success without soul feels empty. And the more you listen, the more you remember. You remember what you value when no one is watching, what makes you feel whole, even when the world offers applause for your fragments. This is the turning point, not the end of your pain, but the beginning of your becoming. When you stop asking, "What should I do to be enough?" and begin asking, "What would someone who loves themselves choose right now?" Not someone who pretends, not someone who performs worthiness, but someone who honors their existence simply by breathing. That question changes everything. It quiets the noise. It softens the pressure. It brings you home. So next time you feel lost, don't look further out. Sit still. Listen deeper. The voice has always been there. And now, you're finally ready to hear it. You've come so far, not just through this story, but through your own. The chapters no one saw, the nights no one stayed, the moments you held yourself when there was no one else to hold you. And now here you are, still breathing, still open, still searching for something more than survival. That alone is everything. Because the world told you that breaking meant the end, that losing meant you failed. That pain was something to silence, not listen to. But you didn't close. You cracked open. And through those cracks, the light got in. You don't have to be fixed. You don't have to start over. You only have to choose in this moment to honor who you are becoming, not who you were. Not who they expected, but who is rising now from the fire, from the silence, from the sacred space of your lowest point. That place wasn't a grave, it was soil. And in it, you've planted something, a whisper of self-worth, a seed of truth, a breath of possibility. You may not see the full bloom yet. You may still feel the sting of what you lost. But make no mistake, you are not where you began. Every tear watered your strength. Every doubt carved your clarity. Every moment you chose to stay, it built you. So now take this moment, not as a conclusion, but as a commitment to live like your life matters, to love like your heart is whole, even if it's healing, to walk forward not perfectly, but honestly. And when you stumble as you will, let it remind you you are alive, you are learning, you are becoming. This is not your ending. This is your emergence, the beginning of the chapter where you stop waiting for permission and start remembering your power. So breathe. Feel your chest rise. Feel your presence return. You're here. You've always been. And from this moment forward, you write the story.